And I know what you're asking. Can I just have 2 mags instead of any guns and just run around with double swords or double grenades or whatever? You can. Yeah, you can. Welcome, my fellow Quest heads and VR lovers, to my temporary setup. My name is Rex. This is Eyes on VR, your home for in-depth game reviews and up-to-date VR news. Today, we're looking at a game for the Oculus Quest that, in my opinion, has one of the best VR game mechanics that I have ever seen. And believe me, you're going to want to stick around to see it. Let me know your favourite game mechanic you've come across in a VR game in the comments down below. So what is this game, Rex, I hear you asking? Well, it's a VR shooter, of course, and it goes by the name Hacks. Alright, back up, whoa, back up, back up. Alright, it's grenade time. And I killed myself. Great. Sword shield, biatch. Huh. I knew it would work. Walk right into it. That's how we do. Ghost of Tashumi over here. You're down. Whoa, he had a friend. He had a friend. Whoa, whoa. Okay, okay. Cover, cover. Yes, I've done it. I am the victor. Yeah. I don't think I'm ever going to get tired of that. Okay, yes, stuck you. Bye-bye. Whoa, 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 get that. Don't ruin it. And stuck you as well. Bye-bye. Whoa, he went. Whoa, hey, hey, this is my terminal. Hey, I said it's my terminal. Oh yeah, got him. I love sticky grenades. My terminal now. Nice. Oh baby, yes. Okay, so Hacks has got a very futuristic tone to it, and you'll get some seriously Echo VR vibes off of the character models and AI models that you have to fight, because they're all robots, and admittedly that's the only comparison to Echo VR I've got. If you get up close to the models, they're very high def. All the textures are very sharp and very good looking. If you look at the HUDs on your wrists, you can see them perfectly clearly. And I think that has something to do with the innovation that they have presented in this game, which I will get into later on. So Hacks has kind of an AIM XR thing going on here, where right now it is single player, but it will be multiplayer in the future. And at the moment, you can only fight AI. But just like with AIM XR, that does not make it any less of a game. It's still fun, the AI is good, the weapons are fun, and the gameplay is absolutely brilliant. And that's what we'll talk about now. So there are 2 game modes when you get into Hacks. You can do your standard deathmatch, you versus varying numbers of bots depending on the difficulty. Then you've got terminals. Terminals is basically sort of your domination game mode, or just the standard game mode for any Battlefield game if you've played them. Now these are great. You have to capture 3 different points on the map. Once you've captured all 3, you're a winner. But obviously you have to fight an entire enemy team of AI to try and capture all these points while they're trying to capture them back, and it is actually a massive pain. And I mean that in the best way. I mean the AI do present a challenge to you, and obviously that is something that you want from a multiplayer game that isn't quite multiplayer yet. Now with these game modes, there is only 1 map at the moment, but obviously more are coming, and this map is not so bad actually. It's an odd variety type map in one area. It's kind of got this industrial sort of style to it, but also an office building type style on the other side of the map. There's varying levels to it as well, so it's not just a flat run around map. There are staircases, there are balconies, there are sort of walkways across. It's not a bad map. I have to say I played quite a few matches and I didn't get bored of it. The enemy can come from basically anywhere, so it keeps things interesting for you. Now let's talk about the fun stuff, the weapons. Now the M180 is just your bog standard pistol. It's just semi-automatic and that's your lot. But the more you use it, the more you kill enemies with it, the more attachments you will unlock. And so far the attachments you can unlock are a suppressor or a reflex or holographic. It's reflex or holographic, I can't remember which. Sight on top of it. Now after that you've got the HX9, which is basically an HK MP7, and it definitely looks exactly the same, and it's a really fun gun to use. The enemy will always have these, even when you have a pistol. They don't change their weapon depending on what you have, so take that to note. Now this HX9 is a super fun gun to use, and just like the M180, as you kill more, the more you unlock. Suppressor, reflex, or holographic sight, same thing with this gun as well. My issue though with the guns is that the hand placement of the character and the guns is not right. Like, your trigger finger on your controller does not match up with where the trigger is on the character model hand that you have in the game. Like, it is quite off. I find myself sort of being like this normally if I'm trying to shoot, but I actually have to be down like this to get it to line up properly. So that's something that needs work on, but there's nothing to say that that won't be patched later, because it is quite frustrating. But I will say this right now, don't let it put you off. You adapt to it very, very quickly. And once you unlock sights for your weapons, it's fine because you know exactly where you're shooting because you've got a sight to tell you. And honestly, after a few kills, you're just having so much fun, you don't notice. I'm not giving you this problem as saying it's game breaking, it's terrible, this game. I'm just letting you know the facts because it is not perfect and it is still being worked on. Apart from that, the guns handle fantastically. When you are aiming at the weird angle, you are aiming accurately. You know, you're going to hit your targets once you get used to it, and you're not going to be bothered by it being a bit skew-if there, so don't let that put you off at all. They still handle really well, feel very impactful when you're firing them as well. There's a shooting range as well, but we'll get into that a bit later, so don't worry yourselves. They're still really fun guns to use. Now, seeing as we're talking guns, we're going to talk all the weapons. There are 3 types of grenades in this game as well. You've got your frag, your sticky, and your impact. Obviously, frag is your normal grenade. Sticky is obviously super fun, sticky grenades, and who doesn't love those? Impact grenades are just as soon as they hit a surface, boom, they are exploding. Awesome, nice to have that variety as well, and you can select them off the cuff during the matches, sort of when you're respawning. You can only go in one type of grenade at a time, but again, that comes down to the innovation mechanic they've put in here. You get swords as well. Now that is super fun, I have to say. You can get an energy sword or you can get sort of this combat knife, and there are more coming later as well. You'll be able to see that on your weapon selection screens. I love the plasma sword, and no matter how many bad guys I killed, I couldn't unlock the other knife, so not sure how that is, but I challenge you to unlock it and show me what it's like, because I was trying my hardest to kill everyone with a knife for mini games and try and unlock the next knife, but I just couldn't, so I'm not really sure. The other one that's coming soon is definitely like some kind of tomahawk type thing, so that's going to be super exciting. So you've got good variety here. You've got melee weapons, you've got guns, you've got grenades. That's pretty good for a game that's very early access right now. Okay, so now it's time to talk about that amazing innovation, probably one of the best innovations in VR I've ever seen as a game mechanic, because it's so great on so many levels, and all it has to do with is this. The magazine. The magazine is everything here. Your magazine you use to reload your gun. Yeah, fair enough, standard stuff. But your magazine is also your grenade. It's also your sword. It's also a way to capture terminals. And that is amazing, because at the end of the day, it's saving memory, it's saving having different models in the game as well, so they can use that extra memory and space to put into other things. So when you grab your magazine, if you want to reload it into your gun, sure, be my guest. If you want to turn it into a sword, just pull your trigger on your controller, it will become a sword. And if you want a grenade, just press the top button on your left-hand controller or your non-dominant hand controller. It will turn into a grenade, and it will show you what type of grenade it is too. It will even blink at you to let you know about the countdown before it explodes. Pull out a magazine, put it in a terminal, starts to capture it. 2 magazines, it captures faster. 3 magazines, it is capturing that terminal as fast as it can. Now, of course, you're obviously thinking, look, I'm using this magazine as a sword, grenade. I'm using it to reload my guns and capture terminals. Is there infinite ammo? No, there isn't, but technically yes. Basically, there are ammo points around the map where you can pick up and refill your magazine stock. You can also keep track of all that stuff on your wrist here, where you will have a HUD. I think it's genius because it's so great to have everything in one hand. If you just walk around shooting and then pull a magazine off your chest, you're just waiting. You're just waiting. You're like, what situation is going to come up that I need to use this for? Oh, someone's getting close to me. Vroom, it's a sword. So, oh, there's a group of people coming. It's a grenade. It's just a great example of how small creators need to innovate to make their life easier, or to just make things go along a lot faster, or just to be impressive, because this is very impressive. And I know what you're asking, can I just have 2 mags instead of any guns and just run around with double swords or double grenades or whatever? You can. Yeah, you can. Oh baby, yes. Yeah! Come on, you two. Yeah! And slice. Step. Woohoo! Bang! I spent many a level running around with double swords, just chopping away. Now, something very important to note about this game being in such early access is that there aren't really any settings here. You know, there's no settings menu, so there's not much you can change, but I have to admit the controls are pretty good. You can jump, and that's very natural. It's the same button as in Contractors. Your head locomotion is enabled, so you move where your head moves. You're not moving with your controllers like a weirdo. You go where you're looking, which is always great. I always tell anyone who's new to VR to enable head locomotion on any game they start to play before they get into it. Also, there's no snap turn, which for me was quite an adjustment, as I always use snap turn in VR games. There's something about smooth turning like this, like a robot, that just makes my brain decide that it doesn't want to be in my head anymore. So yeah, unfortunately that is a thing, but I have to admit, I did get used to it. It's not as aggressive or as sort of, not motion sickness inducing, but it doesn't make me go, oh, when I'm trying to turn. So it's not too bad here. You get used to it, and I can't say I noticed it after a while. So I wouldn't say it's a problem, but just bear in mind that you can't change it. So you might need a few minutes to sort yourself out, but you will have time to get used to everything, because when you first fire up the game, you get a nice tutorial which takes you through absolutely everything, from movement and looking to how to just reload your guns, but also every function the magazines have and how to use them. And you will use every weapon available to you at that point in the tutorial before you start a game. When you jump into a deathmatch or a terminal match, you're going to be fine. You'll know exactly what you're doing and how to do it. Now, one thing I will say is the difficulty settings, they do work, okay? It's not just like random AI nonsense where they just shoot harder or they have higher health or whatever. Basically what will happen is the lower the difficulty, the less enemies you'll be fighting, but at the same time, when you put the difficulty level up, you'll have more enemies, but they will be more aggressive. You know, on easy, they'll hide behind barrels and they will sort of duck and cover and kind of peek around a bit gingerly. When you're on the most difficult level, they will just charge you and they will be coming at you full force and they will not be messing around. One other thing I'll say is, I don't know whether the creator used any motion capture here or any sort of stock motion capture data, but the way these robots move, these AI, really good. Like when they're running around corners, hiding or ducking behind things, they just have such a smooth animation to them. If he's done it keyframe by keyframe, then wow, that's some great animation, because it looks like it's motion capture. So that's something to keep an eye out for. Hacks is a super fun, super amazing game that I would say get into now, get your practice in while you're just fighting AI, because just like AIM-XR, when the multiplayer comes out, things are gonna start kicking off, it's gonna get massive, and everyone's gonna come in and join the fun. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, it really helps me out. Don't forget to subscribe down below, and leave me a comment in the comments section letting me know what your favorite VR game mechanic or innovation is. It's just a short review today because there's not much to see on hacks apart from the amazing fun that you can have. It's free on SideQuest right now, so go download it, have yourself some fun. It's really good. My name is Rex, this is Eyes on VR. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next week.